Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, Jazakumullah khair for attending this awareness and education session about the next steps of the Nusuk and purchase process for Hajj 2026 through the only verified and only platform that you could purchase from, which would be Nusuk, hajj.nusuk.sa, through the approved service providers in the website, inshallah. We are here to provide you guidance and awareness of the next steps, inshallah. So these are some guidelines and dates that we've discussed already on the channel on what to expect, bi'idhnillah. Right now, as we've discussed, we are in the verification stage. And again, there is a process. If you've uploaded your picture, your documents, and there's some rejection, then please read the notes carefully and try again in terms of the requirements. We do have a chat that can support you on that. The next step, bi'idhnillah, which we will be looking into or waiting for, is the package selection opening as well as the e-wallet. And that is expected on 15 Rajab, which is approximately January 4th. So until then, there is really not much to do if you're verified, alhamdulillah. But what you can do is prepare yourself in terms of knowing what your budget is and your scheduling is and so on and so forth. The plan would be is between January 4th and February 5th, 4th, inshallah, is that the packages will be uploaded by the service providers. And inshallah, we would be able to go over them together, educate ourselves, create awareness in terms of what programs are available to you, and then basically select your preferences from there. So there is a window of at least probably, I would say, between a week to 2 weeks where we're going to go over the programs over and over and over again. This is not the session that we're going to go over the programs because we don't have them. We don't know them yet from the service providers. So right now we need to know that we need to get verified. And the next step would be is the e-wallet and the package preference selection, which will be around 15 Rajab. And then 15 Sha'ban is basically the go day where we hope to be already verified, e-wallet topped up, and of course, knowing the packages and the selections that we have. Now, enhanced flexibility options this year, of course, in Hajj 2025, there were many packages. I would probably say in the hundreds, and some of them were designated as Major Caps, some of them as Maisam, and of course, there's the standard, premium, and the luxury. I want to remind you all not to be confused out of all of this. It's all going to come together. But what, mashallah, the ministry has done this year, what we've heard from our service providers, is that they're going to create one package and there will be a drop-down access to Majority Caption Maisam. By the way, Kidana is a separate camp, so it will have its own separate packages. So that's why you won't see much of it discussed in these in these selections. Flight booking options, then you'll have the next part. So what you'll do is you'll select the package or the service provider that we provide you guidance on. Then you'll select the package. You'll click on the package. You'll select the room occupancy. You'll select the campsite. Then you go to next, and then you'll select whether it's a group flight that is available to you. Now, remember, brothers and sisters, when we talk about group flights, if I am in Liverpool, chances are I might not have a flight from there, but I might have a flight from Manchester or London. If I am in Denver, chances are I'm going to have a flight that is close to me in an international airline or international Middle Eastern airline, you can say. So I can either go to LA or San Francisco, or I can go to Chicago. So remember that you're not going to always find the exact gateway of where you live. If I live in, again, Montreal, maybe I might not find Montreal, I might find Toronto. So I'll go to Toronto. So remember that that's not going to be the prerequisite, which is make all or end all kind of thing, right? So remember that and keep that in mind when we answer those questions. You get to choose a group flight, or you say, you know what, I want to make my own choice, but you'll have to make your own choice within the Nusuk platform through the GDS. GDS is General Distribution System, which is like an online travel agent. So the equivalent of Expedia, there's Al Musafir. Al Musafir is the largest online travel agent booking system in Saudi Arabia, and you have to and must purchase independently, but within the platform of Nusuk. Everything has to be done through Nusuk. Okay. That's basically the idea of the timeline. There also, I know there's a lot of questions that were asked about travel windows, so you plan your time off, and we've discussed this as well. Remember, these are general guidelines. If you wanted to start a program in Medina first, then go to Mecca, and then go for Hajj, you're looking between 17 May to 31st May, plus or minus 1 day, just in case you want to plan that. Mecca first is typically a little later. So it'll be maybe May 19 or 20, and return Medina after Hajj would be June 4th. Express programs, which are usually 10 to 11 days, typically start in Mecca, but they also can start in Medina, by the way. So that's not an issue at all. Standard economy programs, typically, if they're a three-star hotel, or those are usually longer. They are, believe it or not, more cost effective, but they're also longer. So that's really the bottom line with regards to this part, inshallah. I will hand this over the next part of the session to our dear brother Azhar. Please, brother Azhar, you may present.
Jazakallah khair. Can you allow me to share the screen?
Yeah, you should be able to, inshallah.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, you have to just excuse me a little bit. I have a little bit of a congestion, so I'm going to try and get my voice across to you. We begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Indeed, all praises are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon our noble messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for taking the time on this Sunday morning or evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. And hopefully what we're presenting is going to help you. But I want to preface this by saying that there is a pathway, there's a process, there's a timeline. Some people have been verified, and so they're eager for the next step. Some people are struggling with verification, but we'll all come together. Just have to go through the process. What I'm going to go through is walk you through what we call few things. Number one, there is something called Hajj category, and the Hajj category that you have to select, and they come in three different flavors. There's a standard category, and premium category, and a luxury category. What does it mean if I select standard? What does it mean if I select premium? They're generally referring to trying to understand from you which category would you be looking for your accommodations in Medina and Mecca. A standard Hajj category would mean you're looking for a 3-star hotel in Medina and Mecca. Relatively, it'll be cheaper, but it'll also likely will be at some distance from the Haramain. If you choose a premium category, it'll be a 4-star hotel, perhaps a short distance from the Haramain. And if you're looking at a luxury category, it will typically be a 5-star hotel and probably be right across from the Haram, or a very short walking distance to the Haram. Now, what happens if I choose a luxury category? It doesn't mean that I can't see the packages for the other categories unless they've made changes to Nusuk. I should still be able to see all of the packages when the packages do become available. But if you're asked to choose a category, you can choose any one of these categories, inshallah, until such time that, because this will enable your e-wallet. So let's talk about your e-wallet. What is e-wallet? An e-wallet really is your personal account for each person who's registered in Nusuk. And whether or not you've added family members to your profile or not, you are going to be given a very unique account number. It'll be your account number that is where your funds are going to be held, because you have to transfer the funds to your account in order for you to purchase the package. So it is a wallet that is enabled, and at some point in time they will say, okay, go ahead, start putting the funds in. The funds are held in Saudi riyals. So if you happen to be in Australia and you're using Australian dollar or Canadian dollar or US dollar, no matter what it is, remember you're transferring the funds into Saudi riyals, because the packages will be displayed with pricing in Saudi riyals. So once you're enabled, that is post verification, once the funds are enabled and you're allowed to put the funds in, you can put it in through three ways: credit card, debit card, or bank transfer. The quickest way to put your money in is through credit card and debit card. And here's a tip: if you have a credit card that does not charge foreign transaction fees, then you might be able to save a little bit of money, because these are, of course, thousands of riyals, right? So get a credit card that does not charge foreign transaction fees. It'll probably charge you for fees for domestic use of your credit card within your country, but may not charge you for foreign transaction fee. Bank transfer sounds good. You can go to your bank and say, okay, here's an account that I want you to transfer to. But what we've seen in the past, that the bank transfer still required a human action on the other end. So while your money is transferred and you found out from your bank that money has already reached, however, they do not actually credit your account unless somebody actually looks at it and credits your account. So we've had situations where the money was transferred bank to bank, but we waited for the other person to actually put the money in as a credit into your account. So there has been some delay. The quickest way, therefore, becomes a credit card or debit card transaction that will put your money into your wallet right away. Now, once you've enabled it, try and deposit 5,000 riyals, because this will trigger something. If it's a lower amount, it will not trigger it. If you deposit 5,000 riyals or more, it may get flagged as a fraud alert. And that is very simple, because there are legislations within each country to look for things like you're paying money in a foreign transaction to a foreign entity. Is it correct? Is it legitimate? Even though you may say, I have a credit limit in my credit card that allows me to spend up to that amount, it doesn't matter, because fraud alert is regardless of credit limit. And for that, you have to contact your bank to clear the transaction. Sometimes people have been on the phone with the bank or with the credit card company to let them know you're going to be doing this, so that they know it's coming through as such, and it's not a fraud. So it's important to understand that we're using the credit card on a larger amount. If you're sending 1,000 riyals, it might not actually trigger a fraud alert. So you might think everything is fine. And then later on, when you really want to put in a large amount, this happens. So it's a good idea, once the wallet is enabled, that you actually put some money in it, so you can know how it works. At least put some money in it. If your intention is to go for Hajj and to purchase a package, put something in it. And here's the process where if a fraud alert is detected, what do? Call your bank to clear the transaction. You may even call your credit card company ahead of time to make sure this is happening, and then see how the process goes through, depending on your credit card company, depending on your actual location where you're doing this. Suffice to say that what you're doing is you're building up the funds needed for your package. You still don't know what the package cost. So the reason for doing this is you're building in some money in. You're going to put in 5,000, you're going to try again another 5,000, because the packages will be somewhere near 50,000 riyals, for example. It's not a good idea to wait till the last minute and then plunk in 50,000 riyals. So you might want to build that up slowly. Now, for you to purchase a package, you must have sufficient funds that covers the entire price of the package. Otherwise, you won't be able to purchase the package. That is why you start putting money into your e-wallet. I call it digital wallet, but really it's an e-wallet as such. And so that's why once the packages are available, right? Once the packages are available for you to view, the pricing will be available for you to view. And you can actually play with it. You can actually configure a package. Oh, this is my preferred package. And you put one in your shopping cart. When you do that, just like anything you purchase online, you will then know exactly what the price is in Saudi riyals. The only thing that you may have difficulty with is that if you chose to use a dynamic ticketing option, not a fixed ticket. So I'm traveling from Toronto. I looked at a package. I loved it. I liked it. And I know how much that is. And I chose then to get the flight from Toronto. Then I have a fixed price. I know exactly how much it's going to cost. Now I have to go in and subsequently top up my wallet to equal that amount, maybe 100 riyals more. So now I'm ready. Whenever they say sale starts, all I have to go is go into my shopping cart and just say purchase, and I'm done, because my money is already there, equal to the amount the package costs. If your money is not there, then you won't be able to purchase. Then you will be struggling with trying to put the money in your e-wallet at the last minute when the packages are quickly being sold, and you might just miss out on it. Or those, for example, I'll give you an example. If I'm in Toronto, but I actually want to fly from Dubai and I don't have a flight available, so I'm going to go on my own to Dubai, and then I'm going to go and use Musafir, which is the in equivalent of an Expedia, which is a dynamic system, and say I'm looking for a flight, because I cannot put that piece in my shopping cart, because that flight is not booked ahead of time. You're booking it as you're actually selecting the package, as you're purchasing it. So in that case, I may have to put some money in my e-wallet and then be able to enable it to purchase that. Again, don't worry about it if it's too much for you. Right now, it's just the method of saying, how do you put the money into e-wallet, and what are the methods of doing it, and make sure that you don't get a fraud alert if you do. We're going to cover this again. We're going to cover the packages again. We're going to cover the two different flight options again when the packages are out. Next question, people say, what happens if I need my money back? What happens if I don't go? What happens if I don't purchase the package? All I can tell you is that in 2025, this past year, those who actually got a refund had a deduction of 2.645% on their money. So if you're submitting, if you have 40,000 reals, then don't expect to get 40,000 reals back. It'll be 40,000 reals minus 2.645%. That was the case last year. I'm going to assume it's going to be the case last year. We don't have the clarity on that. When we do, we'll let you know. But you don't only lose that much, you also lose any currency rate difference. When I put the money into my account in Saudi riyals, the exchange rate was X. When I'm getting a refund, if it is higher, it is better, I benefit. If it is lower, I again lose. So it's both ways. Just know that it's not a 100% refund. There is a deduction of an admin fee, and there's also the effect of the currency exchange that may affect the actual amount you receive back. We'll let you know what 2026 will be once we find out. The next thing I want to speak about, and people have asked the questions, what is shifting accommodations? What is non-shifting accommodation? So I have just one slide on it. It's very simple. Basically, you have accommodations in Medina, you have accommodations in Mecca, and you have accommodations in the camp. What the shifting and non-shifting applies to is simply your accommodation in Mecca before you move on to the manasik. So what is it? Non-shifting means that once you move into your hotel in Mecca, you're going to stay in the hotel. The room will be yours until the end of Hajj. Even though you're moving out to the camp, the room is yours. And that is what it means by non-shifting. You don't shift out of your room. You retain the room from the beginning of Hajj, 8th of Zulhijjah, till the end of Hajj, 13th of Zulhijjah. So when you go out to the camps on the 8th and Arafat on the 9th and then back in Mina on the 10th, your room remains where it is. What that means your valuables is safe in the room. That means your luggage is still in the room. You don't have to do anything. And oh, by the way, while you're in Mina, and this typically happens, it depends on the camp, by the way, it's not as simple as I'm making it out to be. But while you're in Mina, you do have the ability or the option to come back to your hotel room during the day. That is to say, depending on the camp and the transportation that's available, because the room is still yours. A shifting accommodation is totally opposite of that. So I am in Mecca. Let's say I arrived in Mecca and I've been staying in my hotel and I have a shifting accommodation. And now the Hajj begins. Now I have to move out to Mina. Guess what? A shifting accommodation means that I will have to check out of my hotel. I don't have that hotel room anymore. I'm moving on to Mina. The first thing is, what happens to my luggage? I'm not taking my luggage to Mina. Well, your luggage will be sent to the next destination or will be in storage until you get it back. So basically, I'm going to have a second accommodation in a shifting accommodation out from my hotel near the Haram into Azizia, which are typically furnished apartment buildings, where typically people are accommodated during the days of Hajj in mostly quad occupancy. You don't have the option of saying, I want to be in double occupancy. Azizia generally has been quad occupancy. But I've been staying in the hotel with my wife is a double occupancy. Why can't I get double occupancy in Azizia? Well, they have not thus far in the previous years have offered Azizia as a double occupancy, because you're going to be going there temporarily. Most of the time, you won't be even in the Azizia building. You'll be in the camps in Mina as such. So that's what shifting means. You lose your hotel room in front of the Haram in Mecca, and now you move on to Azizia, and then you go on to the manasik of Hajj. From there, the camps. Azizia is a location which is close to Mina, let's put it this way, and that's where your luggage normally is transferred to your next destination or put into storage. You don't have access to the checked luggage. Okay, let's talk about camps in Mina. When we talk about the camps in Mina, people tend not to think about those things seriously. Really, you have accommodations in Medina, you have accommodations in Mecca, but the days of Hajj, the actual ritual of Hajj, when you are in Ihram, really has to be in those areas, in the camps in Mina, in Arafat, and Muzdalifah. So let's talk about Mina because that's where you spend about 5 days, right? So there are 3 different camps associated with the packages. Let's call it Majar al-Kabsh, which is also known or was known as Camp A. You can see its location is right across from the Jamarat. And then on the right side, you have Camp C, which is Al-Mu'assim, which is the vast majority of the people. I mean, I would say to you, if Majar al-Kabsh has capacity of no more than 5,000 people, Mu'assim will have the capacity of 45,000 people. So this is just roughly to give you the difference between the 2 camps. And of course, there's something called Kidana Towers. This is something that started a couple of years ago. And these are buildings that have been built in the middle, in the valley of Mina itself. And these are totally air-conditioned buildings. And generally speaking, this Kidana Towers is associated with the actual service provider that is allowing accommodations in the towers. But for majority of the people who are looking for camps, just let's talk about these 2 locations, Camp A, Al-Majar al-Kabsh, and Mu'assim, and I'll also speak about Kidana Towers. So I'm looking at a valley of Mina on a Google map. I can't really tell what the difference would be. Just I want you to imagine that on the left side where it says Jamarat, the roads are closed. I want you to imagine on the right side, the roads are closed. Why? Because once the people go in, there's no way you can allow a regular transport of buses, a regular transport of anything, because absolutely, totally crowded, right? So that has an impact on what happens if I want to move out of Mina temporarily, go to Mecca or go for Tawaf al-Ifada. So I'm going to share with you a very quick comparison of what it means to be in those camps. If I am in Majar al-Kabsh, as you can see, it's right across from the Jamarat. So for me to go to the Jamarat is 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. If I'm in Kidana Towers, which is a bit further away, to get to the Jamarat is maybe 30 minutes, but to return is longer than 30 minutes. Okay, because the return path, they had to do this. The capacity of the Jamarat, people who are not familiar with this thing, I'm going to go back to the site. You see this empty area next to the word Jamarat and that this red circle around it, this big empty area before the camp start, there is a reason why that is empty. Because the capacity of the Jamarat is to handle the flow, get this, of pilgrims at 200,000 per hour. Just imagine that. The first day in the morning, you're coming from Muzdalifah, that place is crowded with people at 200,000 an hour. So therefore, they strictly enforce a one way. You can go in, throw the stones, you have to come back to a different way. So if I'm in Kidana Towers, I can go there in 30 minutes, but I have to take a longer route back. If I'm al-Mu'assim, for example, I have no other choice. I will be spending at least 45 minutes to an hour just to get to the Jamarat and another 45 minutes to an hour to come back because of the one-way rule that has been enforced specifically for the safety and security of the pilgrims. Where we had those incidences in the past is because the one-way rules were not enforced or people didn't obey that. So that's what that means by, how long does it take to go to the Jamarat? Why is that important? Well, think about it. You're in a camp. You're going to be going there and throwing stones on this 10th of Zulhijjah, 11th of Zulhijjah, 12th of Zulhijjah, and possibly the 13th of Zulhijjah. And we're not talking that this is going to be in the winter months. It's going to be in late May and June. It's going to be fairly hot. And that's what it is. You have to go walk there each of those days and throw the stones, the rituals of stoning, and come back. And that's the walk to Jamarat. What about transportation? What about me in my camp on the 8th of Zulhijjah? Now I have to go to Mina, to Arafat, and then have to go to Muzdalifah, and then I have to come back to Mina. What kind of a transportation is available? Well, depending on the camp. If I'm in Majar al-Kabsh, back to the picture again, what you can't see here, you see the word Majar al-Kabsh, then you see the word Jamarat. Just go below it. That black line that you see, sort of snaking around at the bottom, those are the train tracks. So the train station is right across from the Jamarat. So if I'm in Majar al-Kabsh, I actually take the Al-Mashayir train. to go from Mina to Arafat. In Arafat, my camp is going to be near the train station, and I'm going to take the train again back to Muzdalifah. After spending the night in Muzdalifah, I'm going to take the train back to Mina. So I use Al Mashayir train. No buses are allowed because I'm close to the train. I must use the train. I'm close to the station. I must use the train. In the Kidana Towers, they give you a private bus. What does that mean? That means that the bus is yours, and you will have your group of people in the bus to go from Mina to Arafat, and then bus will bring you to Muzdalifah and back to Mina. If I'm in Al Muassim, I do have a bus transportation, but it is a shuttle bus. A shuttle bus meaning that you have to wait your turn. If they have to take X number of people from Mina to Arafat, the camp inside, the organizers inside will divide it up to say whose turn is when, and they will actually allow you to go in, and the buses will come in, pick up those people, take them to Arafat, come back again and pick up the next set of people and take them to Arafat and come back again. And that's what I mean by shuttle bus service. When I stand in Arafat, the day of Hajj, the most important day, at the end of the day at Maghrib time, is the same shuttle bus service to take me from Arafat to Muzdalifah, and the same thing from Muzdalifah to Mina. So that's the difference in transportation during the Mashayar, during the days of Hajj. Transfers, again, going from private buses to train, government shuttle buses. If I'm doing any transfers between Mecca or these places, then I'll be taking private buses and to the camp, and then I'll be taking the train during the Mashayar. If I'm in Kidana Towers, I can do the same, but in Al Muassim is just government shuttle buses. Access to hotel. If I am in a non-shifting program and I'm in Majr al-Kabsh, even if I'm in a shifting program and I'm in Aziziyah, chances are I'll get shuttle bus service from that camp. I'll show you what exactly. You see where it says Majr al-Kabsh right there? Aziziyah literally is to the left of it. Literally to the left of it. So if I'm in that camp, I'll have the ability to take a shuttle bus. I may have to walk a couple of kilometers to get to the bus because the roads are closed, but I'll get a shuttle bus to either my building in Aziziyah or to my hotel if I have an unshifting accommodation. In Kidana Towers, because they are comfortable in an air-conditioned 5-story building, they don't have anywhere to go. They actually stay in the building as such. In Al Muassim, another difficulty, another challenge is because of the sheer amount of people, is that transportation is available, but often not available. It is limited. So, for example, can I go to the Haram? They may give you a point to point that I'll take you from your camp to the Haram, area in Haram where they drop you off, and then you can go about finding your hotel if you're in an unshifting, or do your tawaf al-ifada and come back to the point to come back. I don't see availability of people last year, for example, where they're taken from Al Muassim to Aziziyah. So it's available, but in practical terms, it's almost like non-available. So we ask people to prepare to spend those days, other than going for tawaf al-ifada, to be in the camp. Meals are open buffet catering in all 3 camps. Meals in Muzdalifah, if you're in Muzdalifah, for Majr al-Kabsh is a box meal, for Kidana Towers is a hot meal, and for the Al Muassim is a box meal. How about male and female camp setup? Basically, Majr al-Kabsh is a large area with a metal fence around it, and there are camps within that area. The metal fence is what gives you security. Every one of them has that. So this circle, just imagine this circle being a fenced area, and so within the camp, you have, for example, separate tents for women, separate for men, separate tent, washroom for men, separate from women. And in the case of Kidana Towers, where it's actually a building, the tendency is to be able to separate them by floors. So one floor will be for women, one floor will be for men. And in the case of Muassim, they take the whole areas and divide it up to say these are women's areas with different access point, and these are men areas, different access point. Regardless, if you're going with your wife, you're going with your family, men and women, this whole concept that people have that, I have a tent with my family. There's no such thing. A tent does not hold 4 people or 5 people. A tent holds much larger amount of people, and they're gender separated as such. So that's the end of my presentation, but I want to assure you that we are not going anywhere, that we are going to be able to be with you, and this whole thing will repeat itself. For now, this is just to whet your appetite. If you're hearing those terms, you're trying to figure out what that means, we'll go over it again because the next step is let's finish the verification. Once they enable the e-wallet, go and try and put some money in it. If you really want to go for Hajj, put some money in it. Look at the experience you go through, figure out how best to put it in. You'll know, have a good idea. And you'll also know once the packages are out as to how much you can afford because the packages are there. Last year we had over 400 packages. This year they're saying there's going to be less packages. So we'll be with you to show you how to filter through the packages that we're talking about in terms of the packages that we work with normally each year. I will show you what those packages are. And generally speaking, this year, what Ahmed has said to me is that what the service providers are looking for is that when you look at a service provider's package, there is a drop down to say, but okay, this is great for my accommodations in Medina. For Mecca, I can choose shifting, non-shifting, but I have a choice of the camp between Muassim and Majar al-Kabsh, and I can choose either camp as such. And that will make a difference in pricing as well. The hotel makes a difference in pricing. The number of people in a room makes a difference in pricing. The camp makes a difference in pricing. And that's why you'll see variation in pricing because of the choice that you make. But you'll see the pricing once you've made the choice. As such, when you've configured your land package, the package without the airline, and then the airline is added on top of it. So when they're out, I believe January the 4th or 15th of Rajab or Shaban, we are going to be there with you to walk you through each of the packages. Again, we'll go through the definition of shifting, non-shifting. Again, we'll go through this whole thing with you. So just stay with us. We promise you that we'll be working hard as much as possible. The more we know, the more we'll inform you, inshallah. And hopefully this will clear your confusion. It will clear your anxiety. I know we want to get there today, tomorrow, but this is actually a process that works through time. Thank you. Jazakumullah khair for listening. I will turn back to Ahmed.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Azhar. May Allah bless you and may Allah give you shifa, speedy recovery. So, Brother Azhar, if you do want to chime in to any of the questions, inshallah, again, brothers and sisters, we have hundreds of questions. And I know for every step, there may be dozens and dozens of questions specific, and everyone has a specific question. We're going to get there. So what we did is we categorized all the questions that we had. And remember, rule of thumb, if we're not answering in the specific detail that you are awaiting, it's because maybe we're still waiting for that information. And if there's something that is not on this FAQ, it means that we do not have an answer for it, inshallah. So let's try to be brief. We have about 20 minutes. Bismillah. So, Brother Azhar, the first category is package types and pricing. I know a lot of questions about that. So we're going to go through some of these questions. Why different prices for the same camp? Because the hotel category, like Brother Azhar mentioned, there is room types, there's double, triple, quad, length of stay, transport type, meal level, and services differ. Even if the Mina camp is Majar al-Kabsh, Kidana, or Maisam, is exactly the same, the hotel categories are changed.
I can also
What?
tell you something else that people are not used to living in the West, for example. They don't sell the hotel per night, by the way. You know, if you buy a hotel room, you buy it for a period of time, regardless whether you use it for one night or the entire period. And the price, the rate changes. So I can buy a hotel from the 1st of 4th Dhul-Hijjah. That'll be a lower rate. And 4 to 8th Dhul-Hijjah, it's still going to be a non-shifting or shifting package because I'm going to leave the hotel on the 8th of Dhul-Hijjah when you go to the camp. So that 4 to 8th Dhul-Hijjah is again a higher price than the 1 to 4, but still not the highest. The highest price you'll find is during the manasik of Hajj when you retain your hotel room in a non-shifting program and you have a hotel from 8th to the 14th. So all of these variation, depending on which hotel it is, depending on which period you want to occupy, that makes a difference in the total pricing. And of course, then comes the camps.
What does the package include? On Nusuk, you first see the land package in Riyals, which is the hotels, camp, transport, meals, services. At checkout, the airline portion is added, whether it's a group flight or through Al Musafir, and you pay one combined price. Do packages include airfare? The initial price that you see is the land only in Riyal price. Once you continue to the next steps, Nusuk adds the required flight component by group flight or Al Musafir option, and you pay one total amount including air.
Can we
How much
clarify the
less?
Musafir option?
I'm sorry?
Can you clarify the Musafir option? Because you can't save that price for Musafir, right?
It's a live, yeah, it's like you're booking on Expedia. It's a live booking, the final step when you're trying to close your booking. And we'll get into tips and the best approach that you can do and what's more reliable and what's a better strategy when the packages are available and we get to see those options, inshallah.
The only hint I will give you, the only tip that I will give you, if you're going for Hajj and coming back from Hajj, stick to the group flight, even if it means you have to take a domestic to another gateway. Stick to the group flight. That's the safest bet. Musafir would be for those who are saying, wait a minute, I'm going to have to drop my kids off in Dubai or in Cairo and then I'll go in, because the requirement is that the flight coming into the kingdom and out of the kingdom must be purchased through Nusuk. So I don't want to take my own flight out of JFK or out of Toronto because I'm going to go to Dubai. I'm going to drop my kids off. So I'm taking a flight out of Dubai, and that may not be an option offered to you with your package. Then you have to go to Al Musafir and say, hey, what's the flight from Dubai to Medina and back from Jeddah? And that's where you'd use it. But if I'm going for Hajj and coming back from Hajj, I would rather stick to the group flight option, because that is a done deal. That's fixed. You have it. You can actually put it in your shopping cart. Musafir, you can't put on the shopping cart. And we'll tell you exactly how to maximize the Musafir option later on.
Jazakallah khair. How much less if I go from the UK? And this applies, of course, France, Portugal, Australia, Japan, whichever it is, any of the 330 countries, land price is identical. The difference is airfare. So whichever country you're coming from, they're often cheaper than probably the US or Canada because that's the furthest away. So the total package may be a few £100 less when departing from the UK or any country that's closer. Can we do 3 weeks, 20 days? Yes. Standard economy shifting programs usually run 18 to 21 days. That includes Medina, Mecca, then Aziziyah, which is the outskirts of Mecca, Mina, Arafat, and post-Hajj stay. Premium and non-shifting programs are typically shorter, 10 to 14 days. What is the longest DST supported program? The standard shifting program supported by DST and through the service providers typically are 18 to 20 days, starting in Medina or Mecca, going through Aziziyah, Mina, and ending with a post-Hajj hotel stay, inshallah. Is Kidana non-shifting? Kidana is a different category. There is no shifting or non-shifting. It's a tower building in Mina, not a tent. So essentially, it is a building. So it negates the whole shifting, non-shifting. But it is treated as non-shifting for the monastic days. Once you enter Kidana, you are in a typical, a kind of a hotel. You stay in that building for the full 5 days of Hajj without moving camps. Which hotel will we stay in? The Mina camp does not define the hotel. Each package, you'll see like a PDF or an image of it, clearly lists the Mecca and Medina hotels by name and category. Category being 3, 4, 5. 3 meaning standard, 4 is premium, and 5 is luxury. And always open and read the full details when the packages are made available, inshallah. So again, why I think we answered this question, but why 3-star, 4-star, 5-star prices for the same camp? Because the camp is only one part of the package. The hotel star rating, room type, meal quality, transport, and support level change the price, even if everyone shares the same Mina camp, inshallah. Should I continue, Brother Azhar?
Yeah, just some people have asked this question about the price difference. It's one way to explain to you is that if you're if you're going to be going and to New York, and your main attraction is Yankee Stadium, everybody's main attraction is Yankee Stadium, you would think that the hotels around Yankee Stadium will be more expensive than the ones further away. The same thing applies over there. And any hotel near the Haram is going to be expensive. The further away, it's going to be cheaper. And typically, hotels near the Haram tend to be 4 stars. They tend to be 5 stars. Some distance away is 4-star. And so you look at them, that's how they defined it, standard, premium, and luxury. So that's the difference in pricing because of the location. Then comes the services within the location. Then comes, well, I am husband and wife, I want to stay in a double occupancy. Well, double occupancy is more expensive than somebody who's staying in a shared occupancy like a triple or a quad occupancy. So there's different variation associated with what the pricing would be, even though it's the same 3-star or 4-star or 5-star package.
Jazakallah khair. Category B is registration and verification. And this is really the most important thing, which we've been following up on in the past. Where do we sign up and what's the deadline? You only register on Nusuk. Typical flow, verification in December to January. E-wallet and package views in January. public packages and the public release of the packages and purchase in early February, inshallah. No fixed final date yet. What are the steps for first timers? Create Nusuk account, upload passport and verify, top up the e-wallet, browse and select the package, pay in full, receive Hajj visa and travel details from the service provider via Nusuk. Number 3, can I still register for Hajj on Nusuk? Certainly. As of now, registration and verification are still open. You should complete your profile, upload documents, and wait for verification to be processed in the current rolling batches. Do we register on Nusuk or with DST? All bookings and payments are on Nusuk only. DST does not sell Hajj directly. We only provide education, guidance, recommended providers, and support as you are currently seeing here before and after you book.
If I may add something especially for the first timers, I would say that it is important that you decide upfront if another family member is joining you. Don't have two separate registrations or two separate account for the family members. Join them in a single profile. You may have to register, the second person has to be verified anyway, but then take a person who becomes the primary and join the second person together, because what that would mean is that when it comes time to selecting package and purchasing, it's a one transaction. It's not that I'm purchasing separately and my wife is purchasing separately. What happens if I get it and she doesn't get the package because the package is sold out? You don't get into those issues when you have a profile that has all your family members in place. So make sure that if you're going to go as a family, everybody else have to get verified, but make sure there's only a single profile that has all of the family members. That allows you to have one top off of the e-wallet for everybody. That allows you to have just one purchase.
Jazakallah khair. Common verification issues. Again, remember, brothers and sisters, the verification process, may Allah bless them, the whole team who's handling the chat, all of this is covered on there. So please, if you are not on the open chat, please do join it. The link is on the general channel. We'll post it again. But typically, I registered but no verification email. That's perfectly fine. You can search or you can log into your account to check. How does Nusuk pick who gets verified? It's a rolling automated system. It's not alphabetical. My application shows step 1 again and resubmit. So you just have to wait. It might be a glitch. My status went back to awaiting verification. Is this normal? Yes, this happens when Nusuk updates or rechecks data. Does resubmitting send me back to the line? It does restart your submission date, but sometimes it actually goes faster. So there is really no disadvantage whatsoever in terms of a line. You're not on a line yet. When should I worry if not verified yet? Don't worry in December. Start paying closer attention in early January. If you're still not verified by mid-January, then contact Nusuk support and check carefully for any missing information. Account and family questions. Should I create a new account if I can't log in? No, accounts are tied to your passport number, so multiple accounts cause problems. You might not be able to open a new account because of your passport number. If you delete your account, it's very important that you speak to Nusuk so they reset, which we don't advise, but they reset and remove your passport number permanently so you can create another one. But typically, the best way to resolve this is contact Nusuk support. Can I add my daughter after submitting? Yes, family linking is available after submitting. Can I join my cousin's group? Yes, you can put them in. And if there is no link that says cousin, you can put brother or friend. Does my husband's second Hajj affect my eligibility? No, it does not. And it does not reduce any chances. Category C, passports and photos. Should I renew my passport now or wait? Renew now, please. Your passport must be valid at least 6 months beyond return. For Hajj 2026, we recommend an expiry after 6 December 2026 to be completely safe with all systems. My picture background is cream. Is that okay? Very light cream is often accepted, but again, if you get rejected, try again. But the safest is a pure white background. If verification rejects it, retake on a clearly white wall with good lighting. My photo keeps getting rejected. Why? Most rejections are due to shadows, off-white gray backgrounds, wrong size, or poor contrast. Use a pure white wall, even lighting, no shadows, no glasses, possibly hats or glasses or any of that. Maybe a big smile. Maybe you can have it neutral expressions. OCR, which is the reader on the passport, uploading error. Place the passport flat, remove glare, zoom to fill the frame, and retake a high resolution image. Re-upload. Again, anytime you correct all of this, you need to re-upload, inshallah. I was rejected for dress background. What now? Take a new photo with modest clothing, covered shoulders, no hats, no glasses, no big smiles, neutral expressions, and a pure white background. We recommend using hajjphoto.com. Two J's, my apologies. This says one J. HAJJPHOTO.com, which formats photos to Nusuk standards, inshallah. Also, you can visit mabruressentials.com. They have a great tutorial for you there as well. Flights and travel plans, post-Hajj travel options. Can I visit India or Pakistan or any country in the world after Hajj? Yes, choose a land only or choose a package and then go to GDS style package, which is Al Musafir that we mentioned, which is like an Expedia on Nusuk, or a package with flexible flights, then book separate onward flights to India, Pakistan after Hajj, while others return home. So you can choose that essentially within there. Can I arrange flights to visit my parents? Yes, you can book your package, and then on the flight area, you can book Al Musafir through Nusuk, or your separate own travel to your parents' country after you book the final destination. For instance, you can book on Al Musafir Jeddah to Dubai, and then basically, like Brother Azhar mentioned, it's into Saudi and out of Saudi. Anything else you can book on your own through Al Musafir as well, or separately, as long as the only thing that's a Nusuk is into Saudi and out of Saudi. Can I fly to Delhi after Hajj? It's the same question. Can I visit family in Jeddah 2 to 3 days before Hajj? Generally, yes. If your visa window and program dates allow, you must still join your group's hotel and schedule on the required check-in date listed in your package. Flight types and options. And again, this applies to any city. Are there flights from Chicago? Yes. Chicago is a common Hajj gateway many years, along with New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Toronto, London, Manchester, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne. Availability depends on what each service provider offers in their listed packages, but typically the cities that you've heard are usually offered. If you're asking about your specific city and it's not on here, typically we have not seen it on there. So chances are it might not be. So you might have an alternative that you might want to consider. What is a group flight? A fixed prearranged itinerary chosen by the service provider with set dates and routes. Everyone on the package flies together on the same group flights. Can I select business class and what's the cost difference? If business class is offered, you can choose it at checkout. It is often $3,000 to $6,000 more per person, depending on airline, route, and dates. Upgrades may be also available after group ticketing, but are not guaranteed. Will flights release separately from packages? For Hajj 2025, there was separate bookings, but for Hajj 2026, they should be released together, inshallah. What is a GDS or land only option? A package there are only land services are included, and then you choose the flights. So that's what's called a GDS, which is external but within Nusuk, inshallah. How do flight upgrades work? Some providers allow you to pick business class during booking. Others may allow upgrades only after ticketing through the airline directly. All upgrades depend on seat availability. Sorry, brothers and sisters. I'm skimming through these questions, but I'm actually trying to answer them all. Brother Azhar, am I missing anything or are we good?
No, I think we've already answered the e-wallet and payments part, so you don't have to go through them one by one. There was
Okay.
a presentation, yeah.
Yeah. So should I actually, I'm going to open the chat for 1 second and ask everyone, do we have, so Brother Azhar, I want to just ask everyone in the chat, should we continue for another 15 minutes? All right, excellent. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to continue until 11:15 bidnillah. I mean, if you have to drop off, you can ask, you can check the recording, inshallah. We'll continue anyway. E-wallet and payments. How does the e-wallet work? Your Nusuk e-wallet is like a stored balance. You charge it with your card or transfer, then use the balance to fully pay for your chosen Hajj package. Can I fund the e-wallet multiple times? Yes, you can top up the e-wallet as many times as needed, and you may use different credit cards or debit cards until you reach the amount you require. Is topping up a purchase or cash advance? On most cards, it is processed as a regular purchase, not a cash advance. What amount should I test the wallet with? We recommend testing with 5,000 reals. This confirms your bank's fraud filters, credit limit behavior, and gives you a chance to call them if they decline first attempt. Is there a time limit for wallet top up? No formal time limit, but your e-wallet must be funded before you click purchase on a package. Don't rely on last minute transfers during Hajj, during high traffic. Can I add multiple credit cards to the wallet? Yes, you can use as many credit cards or different cards as necessary when topping up, as long as each transaction is approved by your bank and accepted by Nusuk. How long do bank transfers take to reach the wallet? Credit card payments post usually instantly. Bank wires or transfers typically take 3 to 7 days, depending on your bank's processing and international transfer systems. When should I contact my bank about e-wallet charges? You can call before large charges to pre-authorize, or if a charge is declined, call immediately to clear fraud flags and then retry the transaction. Family wallet management. How does a family top up one wallet or many? When family accounts are properly linked, they share one e-wallet. You top up that single wallet balance and then pay for all linked members from it. Do all family members need to pay individually? No. If they are properly linked, they do not. Each needs separate payments. The main account's wallet can cover the entire family's package purchase. Rooming and family structure. Can 3 people share one room? Yes, as long as they are mahram appropriate. Parents with child, siblings, close relatives. You would select triple occupancy in the package configuration. Can two couples combine into a quad later? No. The room type must be chosen at booking time. All 4 must be booked in a quad from the beginning and be in correct mahram groupings. I added my wife. Do we buy 1 or 2 packages? One checkout includes 2 packages under one booking if she is linked. You pay once and it covers both of you in the selected room type and program. Can family members choose different packages? Yes, but not while linked in a single wallet or package. If you want totally different packages, you each use separate Nusuk accounts and payments. Program order, Mecca or Medina? That's always the $1 million question, right, Brother Azhar? Does the express program start in Mecca or Medina? Many express programs are Mecca first, then Hajj, then Medina, but some start Medina first, Mecca with Hajj. Always check the program details when we have it available for you. Comparing the 2 approaches. Pros of Medina before Hajj, you begin with a peaceful spiritual start, visiting the Prophet ﷺ, recover from travel, then go to Mecca and Hajj with calmer energy and a more gradual ramp up. Pros of Medina after Hajj. You end in Medina, which is spiritually beautiful and calming after the intensity of Hajj. The trade-off is you do this when you are more physically tired. Travel logistics. While will my return flight be from the same airport I arrived to? Not always. Many programs have you arrive in Medina and return from Jeddah, depending on airline routes and package structure. Check your flight details, of course, when you're booking. What date should babysitters or family take off to watch kids? For typical 10 to 14 day Hajj programs, a safe coverage window is May 17 to June 4, plus or minus 1 day, depending on your exact package. Do you want to add something here, Brother Azhar?
No, that's fine. Go ahead, please.
Category
All I
A.
would, you'll
Yes.
have more clarity. You have plenty of time. When the packages come out, then you'll have more clarity on those dates. This is good to
Yes.
estimate for time off, but I think that's a pretty good estimation for what has been provided. But you'll have more clarity when the packages come out, and you'll still have more time to make arrangements with respect to babysitting and anything else.
And believe it or not, Brother Azhar, we still have 2 more months to potentially purchase. So I hope everyone doesn't think we're just rushing through this and tomorrow you're starting the package. So I hope no one's panicking. This again, of course, is recorded so you can watch it at your own leisure, but also at the same time, we'll be covering this at least 3 to 4 times again before the purchase, inshallah. Health and mobility, category H. Does any health condition restrict approval? Only severe, unstable, or very high risk conditions may restrict approval. Common issues like diabetes or blood pressure usually do not block Hajj if stable. Best package for mobility issues, choose non-shifting programs such as Kidana Towers or Premium Mojarli Kepsh, which keep walking and transfers as minimal as possible during the manasik. Can I request an electric wheelchair? Electric wheelchairs are generally not provided by packages. They must be rented privately through medical suppliers. Providers focus on manual assistance, but of course, you'll be advised on the ground where you can rent those. How do I request wheelchair support? After booking, you can request wheelchair or special assistance through your service provider's portal or support team who coordinate with on-ground staff. But remember, they provide you the wheelchair. They don't provide an assistant. That's a separate service that I don't know if most service providers will be providing.
Yeah, this is a loaded question. When you say
Yes,
wheelchair
very loaded
support,
question. Yes.
it has
Yes.
different meaning. I need wheelchair for tawaf and sa'i, not a problem. That can be arranged. But if I need wheelchair with somebody to push me around, well, that's an issue, especially when it comes to the manasik of Hajj, because you're not only asking for the person to assist you, but that person is also taking up space in Mina and Arafat. Is probably also performing Hajj. So that's a separate issue and a difference from service provider, where the services such as this can be provided. So just defer this one for now, but you know that there's something going to be available for wheelchair. But if you're not able to walk, if you're not able to, go from point A to point B during the manasik, then I would look very carefully whether or not this support is available, and without which you cannot do Hajj. Then you want to make sure that that is there in place and possible before you choose a package and pay for it.
Jazakallah khair, brother Hasan. And again, we've covered this, the shifting versus non-shifting. I think we can skip this one.
Please.
Ziyarah, Medina sites are typically in Medina. You visit Masjid Quba, Mount Uhud and Shuhada, Masjid Qiblatain, 7 masajid, and sometimes date farms or other historical locations allowed. Mecca site ziyarah is Jabal Nur, the Hira area, Jabal Thawr, Masjid Aisha, and drive-through views of Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah. But typically you'll be doing this in Hajj, so you might not have a lot of ziyarahs in Mecca. Typically the ziyarahs are only offered in Medina, in Medina, and also during Umrah.
Yeah, the last couple of years there was no ziyarah of Mecca, by the way, just only Medina, because you'll be going there anyway, right?
Yeah, so the mazarat really in Medina in Mecca are the mash'ar, right?
Yes, you go to Arafat, you go to Muzdalifah, you go to Mina, and the other areas. The reason why they hesitate giving you ziyarah is because as you get closer to Hajj, the traffic is just horrendous, and there's no point in going there. You just can't get anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a completely different experience, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's nothing like Umrah. Umrah, you have ability to actually get off the bus and explore a few places, but during Hajj, no. And the authorities will restrict you anyway. If I want to go to see Mina camp before I occupy it before the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, they will not allow you to even have the bus to enter that area while they're still working to actually make the camp ready. That work goes on until almost the day before the pilgrims actually arrive, and they actually want to restrict anybody coming in there as such. So you can't go to the Mashire prior to Hajj anyway. So I don't think it matters. Brothers and sisters, honestly speaking, I've been doing this for 30 some years. Your concentration when you go for Hajj should be the Umrah that you do when you're upon arrival, and after that, you conserve your energy and save it for the pinnacle of Hajj, which is Arafat. Those 5 days of Hajj is physically exhausting. It is physically going to take a toll out of you. You've never walked that much in your life in the conditions such as the sun is above you and there's hundreds of people around you, and so it's difficult as it is to prepare and concentrate for the main purpose, which is Hajj, which is the 5 days of Hajj after you're doing the Umrah. That should be your actual main purpose and objective and focus when you're thinking of going for Hajj.
Jazakallah khair, brother Hasan. Where do I buy ihram in general in the US or anywhere? You don't need to worry if you haven't bought ihram. Ihram can be provided in Saudi Arabia if you're starting in Medina first, or it's arranged and delivered to you before you depart in your region. However, I did post in the chat Mabrur Essentials besides creating some amazing tutorials on how to verify and how to go through the steps on nusuk, they do also have for purchase ihrams if you really need an additional one, inshallah. Process clarity and DST role. Is package release chaotic? Loaded question. It can be busy with high traffic and delays, but it is structured somehow. Expect slow loading and patience, not total chaos. Am I competing with millions? No. You compete mainly within your country's quota group. Now, of course, this question is going to create more confusion, asking what are the numbers? You don't have to worry about the numbers. What you're doing is you're logging in, saying Bismillah. And while many nationalities log in at the same time, each country has its own limited allocation. So you're not competing. Again, remember, there's only about 60,000 visas for the Nusuk platform, not millions. Does DST have preferred packages? Yes, DST will share a recommended list of service providers and packages once they are officially published on Nusuk. Understanding DST's support. Where does DST help in the process? DST focuses on education, webinars, clarifying options, pre-booking guidance, and post-booking support for spiritual and logistical complications. Exactly
Basically,
what we're doing right now. That's exactly what we're
basically,
doing
what
right
you're
now.
going to go do is get the 30 plus years of DST's experience on the logistics side and the admin side and all the spiritual side. You'll get all of that to help you prepare for the journey. And don't make mistake by saying that, well, anybody can provide it. No, no, there are different levels of logistics. There are different experienced people in logistics. There are different people who can understand the admin. We're so much in tuned with this process that we will provide you. And honestly, we will provide you what we know. We will not give you an answer for the sake of an answer. If we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know, as such. And so that is something that has been upfront within our team itself, that we have integrity in what we do, and we sincerely make the effort to making it happen. And we really want to make sure that when you make the dua in Arafat, that when you make the dua when you buy the Kaaba, that you will remember the people in Dar Islam that have helped you, because that's our objective, to be part of every person's Hajj and in the du'as that they make. So we want to sincerely make this effort, and we have a team that literally has decades of experience in doing this. And so that's what we want to bring to your help as much as we possibly can, as much as we're allowed to do.
Jazakallah khair, brother Azhar. Last question. Can I hold a package before paying? No, packages cannot be held. Once you click to purchase, you must pay immediately. Putting it in the cart does not guarantee availability. Again, brothers and sisters, I think we've made an attempt today to kind of ease some minds with providing you more answers or answering questions that may not be relevant as this time, but we ask for your patience. Right now is the verification process time. The next step is creating the e-wallet and understanding the e-wallet and understanding what package, what types of credit cards that you would get. Those are the questions that need to be made. And we completely understand that you want to plan your vacation times and your budget. And I think we've answered that already. And we'll continue to answer them, inshallah. Again, right now, the most important thing is seek help for verification. It's on the chat group, inshallah. And of course, we'll walk you through the whole e-wallet process, how to top up, what credit cards. Again, hajjguide.ai will help you with answers like that. So you can ask any question you can 24/7. You wake up 2 a.m., 3 a.m., no one is there to assist you. Hajjguide.ai is available to answer what credit card company you should purchase from Australia or the UK. We will go into detail on what the differences are between refunds and withdrawals, and how do you withdraw the difference of the packages, especially if you over topped up. We'll walk through all of that, inshallah, brothers and sisters. So I ask for your patience on that, and inshallah, we will continue to support you as best as we can through the guidance, through the process of the service providers, and mashallah, the support and enhancements of Nusuk and the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. May Allah bless you all, and Jazakallah khair. Brother Azhar, if you can close off with a dua, and inshallah, we only have 3 minutes. Bismillah.
I will just mention a few things collectively coming from my experience. And alhamdulillah, I just came back from Umrah on Sunday, which is probably where I got something, and I'll be going back again in the next 15 days. And I can tell you that I cannot get enough of that place, no matter how many times I've gone in. You know, the one thing you need to connect yourself to is the one who's inviting you to. All of these things, the wallet and so forth, so on, it's there. But this is also could also be consuming to the point where you're not doing the right thing by connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is He who invites you. Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he says the guests with Allah are three. One who fights in his cause is a guest of Allah. The one who goes for Hajj is a guest of Allah. So Allah is going to honor you to be his guest. So connect with him. Every salah that you do, or at least one salah, and connect with him. Ask him for ease. Ask him to remove the stress. Ask him for patience. Ask him to guide you, to actually invite you, to allow you to perform Hajj. Don't forget that spiritual connection. That Islam is going to be there today. It'll be there tomorrow. We'll tell you what's happening with Nusuk. We'll tell you with this, but don't let it consume you. What really you want to do is you're going to his house to perform Hajj. The reward of his is no less than Jannah. Hajj Mabrur, the reward is no less than Jannah. What are you prepared to go through to obtain that? Think about it. What are you prepared to go through? Or when you come back, the Prophet ﷺ is like the day your mother gave birth to you, which is sinless. What are you prepared to do to do that? And who does that? Who writes your name as an inhabitant of Jannah? Who forgives you all your sins and cleanse you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is calling you to go there? Because when you say labbaik Allahumma labbaik, you're responding to his call. Here I am, O Allah, here I am. So connect with him. Every single day, connect with him. Ask him for ease. Ask him to guide you, because it is he, regardless of Dar Islam or Nusuk or anybody else, who invites his servants as he wishes to invite them. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us ease in this journey with safety and
Amen.
security, and invite
Amen.
you all to his house to perform Hajj
Amen.
as it should be performed, and accept it from you and your du'as, and fulfill your needs, and bring you home back to your family, your loved ones. Jazakumullah khair
Amen.
for my short
Amen.
khutbah today.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Azhar. May Allah bless you all. Brothers and sisters, we're going to stop the recording here, but I will keep the screen on and share the slides again for those who are interested to watching the slides.